The city of Isle of Palms is under a state of emergency. The Isle of Palms City Council, acting in accordance with section 5-7-250 of the South Carolina Code of Laws, which empowers the council to enact emergency ordinances affecting life, health, safety, and approve an emergency ordinance to temporarily restrict access to the island for 14 days from the hours between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. to the following: the residents, to property owners with residential decals or proof of residency, the contractors, the service workers, and delivery of essential medical services, including caretakers, delivery personnel, employees of local businesses, and short-term renters. This ordinance is in reaction to the ever-changing circumstances, including the recent closures of Charleston County parks, which are in turn driving people in larger numbers to our beaches. Doing nothing increases the risk of community spread and exposure. The city has taken all legal steps necessary to ensure that this virus is contained and to lower the risk of exposure to our community. Public safety, first responders, and police personnel, we must protect them, and this is again one of those steps to do such. These are ones who must respond to calls associated with larger crowds at our beaches. So the following steps are being taken. Beginning tomorrow, Saturday, March 21, 2020, access to the island will be restricted for the next 14 days, beginning at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to the following: residents, property owners of the island with a current parking decal or other proof of residency or ownership. We are going to allow 2019 and 2020 resident parking decals, hurricane re-entry stickers, wild dunes resident stickers. Some of them have not updated them yet. We realize that we're in a situation where our office can't be issuing them right now, so we're going to be kind of flexible in that. Residents may apply online for a residential parking decal. Please go to www.iop.net. Relatives and friends of residents only in a vehicle with a resident with a current parking decal or proof of residency visible or near the vehicle. We're going to have checkpoints at this side of the bridge connector and at Breach Inlet. Caretakers. Isle of Palms has a lot of elderly residents. We realize that we have caretakers who have to come out here daily. Contractors with current business licenses. They are doing their jobs. They have licenses. We need to see those licenses as they come on the island. Service workers with current decals. We've got restaurants that are only carry out food, but we have to have the workers coming out there to do this. Short-term renters with a short-term rental contract or a hotel guest pass or Wild Dunes QR code. Delivery personnel, including but not limited to pharmacy, FedEx, UPS, Amazon, USPS, it all must come through. Any person delivering essential medical services, including caregivers. Excuse me if I repeat, but it's just, I'm reading as we go down here. Employees and suppliers to local businesses, including but not limited to grocery stores, restaurants, contractors, short-term rentals, and property managers. The emergency ordinance also prohibits any public gatherings of any type or greater or less than 10 people, 10 or less. All deadlines imposed on the city ordinance shall be suspended until July 15, 2020. And a temporary exemption is in place to a business of the use of the plastic ban ordinance. We realize this is just trying times, and we're trying to work as well as we can with all of our businesses, homeowners, etc. I have with me Desiree Fragasso, our city administrator, and Chief Kevin Cornett, our police chief. Do y'all have any questions?
Yeah. So just for you, there's plenty of rentals, and there are people who are still having rentals throughout the next few months. And I've talked to one on the beach today who they said, well, I have to be here for the rental, what is in place for them?
Well, you know, most of the rental companies are being very, very flexible, knowing what's going on. If people don't wanna go forward, every company has their own unique, rental, rebates and stuff. Some are saying, you know, we'll rebate you, some are saying come back at a different time. We are working with anybody that has a rental license already in place, and somebody can still rent. We just have to be, flexible with, this has never happened before. It's a learning experience for everybody.
Yeah, but for somebody who is currently in a home right now, or, you know, on a rented property, what do they do today?
They will be allowed access to the island as long as they have a contract that indicates that they are renters, current renters or future renters when they come. If they show proof of that, they'll be able to come to our community.
I guess you guys are gonna have some extra work cut out for you guys monitoring on and off, kinda like a hurricane, only a hurricane that's not gonna end anytime soon. Obviously, you guys have plans in place and they're gonna have to deal with overtime and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yes, and I'll let Chief Cornett speak to our enforcement plan in place, and then we'll answer any other additional questions.
Good afternoon. Chief Kevin Cornett with Isle Palms Police Department. Our plans at this time are going to be that we will monitor traffic as it comes off of the Isle Palms connector at Palm Boulevard at the basin when you come down the bottom of the hill. We'll also have a checkpoint in place as you come across the Hunley Bridge coming from Sullivan's Island onto Isle of Palms. There we will be screening to see if you have a parking pass or if you have some type of documentation that shows that you have a reason to be here as far as living here, working here, or any of the items that were already laid out by the mayor. We'll be using a common sense screening approach from the police department side. You know, at the end of the day, we understand people have a reason to be here, and we wanna help them, the ones that have to be here, we wanna help them get where they need to be and make sure that they have all the supplies and resources that they need. We do have a plan in place to set those checkpoints and to staff those so that we can screen people and move traffic as quickly as we're able to do so. We would ask that you bear with us because the traffic is going to back up. There will be incidents where you're sitting in traffic for a little bit as we're screening individuals coming onto the island. Just bear with us. This is not the first time we've had to do this. It is something we've done in the past, and we'll continue to work with everybody as quickly as we can.
Any other questions?
I do wanna make one clarification. The emergency ordinance goes into effect tomorrow at 7 a.m. That means that restricted access is going to be in place for the next 14 days. This is a temporary response to the ever-changing situation, and it only applies, the restricted access to the island applies from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the next 14 days until April 4th.
The residents on Wild Dunes and also here, along Palm Boulevard, if they wanted to walk onto the beach, they could.
Correct.
So no restrictions to beach access for those who can't get on the island.
Correct.
Or is media gonna be able to go through checkpoints and at times do stories and do work here on the island as well?
That's a good question, Chief.
Yes, we would wanna maintain the right that you have as a press to come out and conduct your stories.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Are you guys-
Transparency is everything on this thing, and we thank y'all for coming here because we really need this word put out there.
Are you guys concerned about possible businesses who, you know, are still have to do carry out? People are coming in from Mount Pleasant, taking their, you know, food, going back, but now it's gonna be restricted to just the 4,000 people living on the island. Are you guys preparing for potential economic, impacts because of this?
Absolutely. I mean, this is not an easy decision for city council to take, and we all recognize that this is going to be very inconvenient and very hard for everybody, not only our businesses, but our community as well. However, we feel a responsibility to react and make sure that our public safety personnel is protected, as well as our community, which is mostly made up of elderly folks. So we understand that this is gonna be challenging, and we are here to do as much as we can to help them out. We would like to know that our residents are going to be supportive of our businesses, and again, this restriction is only from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., so hopefully we get people from out of the island to come and pick up food for dinner as well. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all.
All right, thank y'all very much.